The Himalaya is not just a mountain range, but a sealed world where geology, belief, and human survival merge into something that feels almost impossible. Here, deep valleys, vast glaciers, ancient monasteries, and remote villages exist together, shaped by centuries of isolation and life carved directly into the mountains. Every journey through this land crosses Earth's most extreme natural limits, where altitude, climate, and terrain constantly test the boundaries of human adaptation. The Himalaya is also a place where time slows, where ancient civilizations, pilgrimage routes, and spiritual traditions continue to endure within vast silence and raw landscapes. In this journey, you will enter an astonishing realm of mountains and humanity where every view forces you to question how such a world can truly exist. Amne Machin stands isolated on the Tibetan plateau at more than 20,600 feet, surrounded by sharp rock formations and white snow. In summer, melting ice suddenly forms temporary silver-blue lakes, reflecting light across the bare and broken ground. Winds here often exceed 60 miles per hour, making it extremely difficult and dangerous to set up tents or stay outside. To walk around the mountain, pilgrims must travel more than 120 miles over high mountain passes and unnamed glaciers. Importantly, there is no phone signal or stable satellite connection within 30 miles of the mountain's central area. Some monks live in natural rock caves using yak butter candles for heat and chanting scriptures throughout the cold seasons. At more than 17,000 feet on the southern side of the Himalayas, Everest Base Camp is recognized as the key starting point for any journey toward Mount Everest. The area was shaped by layers of glacial debris and ancient ice, forming a shifting foundation that changes with ongoing ice movement. Oxygen levels here drop to roughly half the amount found at sea level, requiring gradual adjustment to avoid altitude shock. The terrain features ice towers, deep fractures, and rough grey rock that make the place feel like an alien landscape. At night, you may hear ice shifting and wind sweeping across the tents, creating a mix of stillness and tension. Everest Base Camp stands as a symbol of human endurance, where simply arriving means confronting the harshest edge of nature. K2 is the second highest mountain on Earth, straddling the border between Pakistan and China in the rugged Karakoram Range. Despite its status, K2 has almost no mass tourism due to extremely harsh conditions and the lack of accessible routes. The mountain consists mainly of metamorphic and ancient sedimentary rocks, forming vertical cliffs that appear sharply sliced. Its nearly perfect pyramid shape, with 4 ice-covered faces, makes K2 visually distinct among the world's tallest peaks. Historically, K2 earned the title Savage Mountain because of its unusually high fatality rate among climbers. Some researchers believe the extreme altitude and low oxygen levels may trigger hallucinations of phantom figures near high-altitude camps. Gangkar Puansum is the highest mountain on Earth that no human has ever reached or recorded climbing successfully. The mountain stands along the active collision zone between the Indian tectonic plate and the Tibetan plateau. The region experiences year-round cold with permanent ice fields that have not melted for centuries. Steep slopes covered in ice and mist make the peak appear like a floating crystal in the sky. Explorers refer to it as the last untouched god because no tracks or devices have been recorded near the summit. It represents a rare symbol of complete purity, where nature remains fully protected from modern interference. Yamdrok Lake in China sits at an elevation of about 14,000 feet, where thin air can make you feel dizzy after only a few minutes of movement. The lake stretches for more than 45 miles, yet no major river flows into it, relying only on melting ice and seasonal rainfall. Across the entire lakeside, there are no tall trees, only low grass and bare stone covered with moss, forming a dry, cold, and empty landscape. During winter, the whole surface freezes solid, turning into a vast white mirror that extends for dozens of miles without visible cracks. In this region, raising Tibetan yaks is essential for survival because they endure extreme cold better than North American bison. Yamdrok Lake is considered one of the most sacred lakes in the Himalaya, as local belief holds that life would vanish if its waters disappeared. Set high on a mountain ridge of the Himalayas, Tangbotchi Monastery is recognized as a key center of Tibetan Buddhist tradition in the region. Built in the early 20th century with traditional timber methods, it maintains stability despite shifting mountain conditions. Its elevation of about 3,800 meters allows chanting to travel farther and produce a rare natural resonance. The open landscape reveals uninterrupted mountain views that give the monastery a strong sense of spatial scale. Mandalas, created with natural minerals, preserve Vajrayana teachings through long-lasting colors. Its red and yellow roof stands out against grey mountains, offering a clear visual marker when weather shifts. Across the arid Tibetan plateau, Guje Kingdom ruins stand out because the entire settlement was built along clay slopes formed hundreds of thousands of years ago. Compressed clay layers allowed multi-level structures to remain stable, while vertical fractures reveal long-term tectonic deformation. Guje once served as a cultural and religious center where ancient murals over 1,000 years old survive inside rooms carved into the mountain. Steep terrain and rounded rock surfaces create layered scenery that lets you observe how past residents organized life by elevation. Research indicates the area once contained more than 400 interconnected structures arranged in defensive terraces. Today, Guje is regarded as a symbol of a vanished civilization, where stone remnants and spiritual memory form a compelling and unresolved mystery. Potala Palace stands on the harsh Tibetan plateau at over 12,000 feet, where the air is thin and sunlight is intense. Its thick walls are made of stone wood and mud to resist cold earthquakes and help keep the warmth inside. Visitors must climb more than 900 stone steps, where thin air quickly causes rapid breathing and dizziness. Inside are more than 1,000 rooms filled with statues, Thangka paintings, and golden tomb stupas of former leaders. Most statues have a carved wooden core, carefully shaped by hand, then covered with clay and coated with real gold. Even without electric heat, monks meditate for hours in temperatures below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, relying only on breath control and yak wool coats. Set above 13,000 feet in the Himalayas, Mad Honey Cliffs are known for hosting giant bees that produce the rare red honey found only in this region. The towering cliffs were formed from ancient sedimentary rock lifted by tectonic activity, creating ideal but dangerous nesting sites. These bees have wings nearly 1 inch wide and create honey containing natural compounds that can cause warmth or numbness when overused. The landscape features steep grey walls, massive golden hives, and strong winds sweeping through the valley, creating an intense atmosphere. As you approach, the buzzing becomes as thick as engine noise, while collectors hang on ropes stretching dozens of feet down the cliff. Mad Honey Cliffs symbolize bravery and survival, showing how humans and nature intersect in a rare and demanding environment. Upper Mustang is among the most remote regions in Nepal, known for its strange mix of desert and high mountains. Locals build thick-walled earthen houses to adapt to the dry winds and freezing cold all year long. It sits between the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau, combining white snow and red soil in rare contrast. From a distance, scattered green forests look like ribbons stretching across the endless grey desert landscape. Visitors must get special permits so both nature and culture remain nearly untouched by modern influence. Upper Mustang was once an independent kingdom shaped by Tibetan Buddhism, preserving ancient rituals and stone architecture. Kumbu Monastery is a Tibetan Buddhist monastery perched over 10,000 feet high on a rocky summit in northern India. Reaching it requires crossing rugged mountain roads with no access to public buses or trains, adding to its complete isolation. The structure looks like a layered stone tower, clinging to a steep cliff in a cold, barren highland region. Its sloped roofs and thick walls are designed to withstand earthquakes, strong winds, and landslides typical of high-altitude zones. In 2012, UNESCO recognized it as a symbolic example of religious architecture adapting to extreme Himalayan geography. The wall colors closely match surrounding rock, once making it difficult to render accurate 3D models using satellite imagery. Hunza Valley is a remote high-altitude valley in Pakistan known for its long-living residents with exceptionally low illness rates. Trails across the valley combine steep inclines, loose rocks, and cliff edges, challenging both physical endurance and mental focus. Steep mountain walls surround the valley, making it look like a massive stone basin floating beneath the sky. Meltwater streams cut through narrow gorges, forming a complex hydrological system within layers of sandstone and permanent snow. Hunza lies at the convergence of three major Asian mountain ranges, creating a dense, towering landscape of rugged elevation. In 1973, National Geographic highlighted Hunza for its healthy lifestyle based on plant-based food, glacier water, and balanced routines. Drepung Monastery is one of the largest Buddhist monasteries in the world, located on a western Himalayan slope in Tibet. It was once the biggest academic center of the Gelug sect, with over 10,000 monks living and studying together. During major festivals, long lines of pilgrims slowly ascend the stone stairs in a constant flowing stream. The monastery stands in a barren, treeless landscape where altitude and solar radiation shape every aspect of daily life. From a distance, the complex looks like a white city, clinging to dry mountain rock on the high plateau. A local legend says builders blindfolded themselves during construction to avoid disturbing the sacred sightlines of guardian deities. Resting within a northern high-altitude region of India, Nubra Valley stands out for its cold desert above 3,000 meters, where dunes and glaciers meet. The valley formed through millions of years of uplift and glacial erosion, producing sharply divided landforms and extensive alluvial terraces. Nubra Valley once served as an important trade link, where Bactrian camels remain as living evidence of ancient caravan routes. When you visit the valley, you can ride Bactrian camels and see glaciers, dunes, and river plains merge within a single experience. Climate research views the valley as a model of high-altitude cold deserts where three ecological zones function together. Its landscape includes dune belts stretching for miles beside steep rock walls, creating a rare contrast between desert and mountain terrain. Zizu Monastery is one of the most inaccessible temples in Tibet, clinging to a mountain ridge over 15,700 feet above sea level. Its position on a vertical cliff, constantly wrapped in fog and freezing wind, creates one of the harshest living environments on Earth. The Zizu Range features sharp layers of limestone and shale formed by millions of years of unstable geological movement. The steep slopes create what locals call the cloud region, where you can reach out and touch the cold mist at chest level. With over 3,000 years of history, it stands among the oldest surviving religious monuments on the Tibetan plateau. The monastery belongs to the native Bon tradition, preserving ancient rituals that predate the arrival of Buddhism in Tibet. Annapurna has the steepest terrain contrast on Earth, with an elevation change of nearly 20,000 feet over just 19 miles. Near the summit, almost no trees survive On the slopes, only stone, moss and lichens can grow in such thin conditions. The rock here is mostly ancient metamorphic stone that breaks easily and makes loud cracking sounds when it fractures. Sudden snowstorms often cover the entire area in white within 20 minutes, even when the sky was clear before. Locals make shoes from hand-stitched cowhide because factory-made shoes cannot handle the frozen mud and icy water. Most drinking water comes from melted snow, but must be filtered by hand due to tiny rock particles that cause stomach pain. In the rugged mountains of southwest China, the Lancang River begins at a height of over 16,000 feet, carrying icy meltwater all year. The river cuts through the mountains, forming deep canyons and steep, black rock walls that stretch for dozens of miles. People living along the river follow the water's rhythm, holding a large fish festival each year when the flow becomes safe. To survive, they build stone barriers and wooden structures to protect farmland from sudden floods. Gangkar Monastery stands near the edge of a mountain nearly 12,800 feet high, facing a deep drop that defies survival. Long ago, people placed each stone by hand on soft sandstone, where even the smallest tremor could bring everything down. There is no electricity or heating, yet ancient Buddha statues remain untouched after centuries of cutting wind and freezing cold. The thin air makes every breath dry and heavy, as if the body must relearn how to live in thinner space. Each morning, sunlight passes through narrow rock gaps and forms a golden beam that lands directly on the main Buddha's face. Gangkar is living proof that humans can build something sacred exactly where nature once erased the possibility of life. Namche Monastery was built in the 15th century as a symbol of spiritual and political authority set amid an unforgiving mountain landscape. Its architecture follows the natural terrain without flattening the peak, forcing people to adapt completely to the rock and elevation. Thin air slows every step, while strong winds sweep through the open space with no shelter or obstacle to break their path. The surrounding terrain is bare stone and fragile sediment, requiring the structure to distribute its weight with absolute precision. The living space is narrow and almost completely silent, turning spiritual life into the center where physical comfort disappears. Namche has been officially protected as a historical monument by the Archaeological Survey of India since 1982. In the harsh, snowy mountains of the Himalayas, Kedarnath Temple stands at more than 11,750 feet, where the air is thin and hard to breathe. The path to the temple stretches for more than 10 miles and can only be walked passing slippery stones, steep slopes, and freezing mountain winds. This temple, over 1,000 years old, was built using granite blocks, without mortar, and survived the devastating floods of 2013. Despite the extreme conditions, tens of thousands of pilgrims still visit each year, even during heavy snowfall. To survive, local people rely on long-term food supplies since there are no markets or regular transportation available. Deep in the Tibetan plateau, Jada Earth Forest is known as a maze of earth and stone, stretching for hundreds of miles without end. It is one of the largest earth forests on the planet, shaped by ancient lake sediments eroded over millions of years. Thousands of tall pillars in red, yellow, and gray colors spread across the area, changing shades with the light each day. Many deep canyons between the earth columns reach depths of several hundred feet, forming extreme and hard-to-reach terrain. People in the area once carved into soft clay walls to make natural shelters in dry and cold year-round conditions. Here you can see locals adapting by raising cold-resistant animals such as grassland livestock built for high-altitude living. Few places on Earth are as dry and cold as Leh, India, which sits over 11,500 feet high, yet remains inhabited year-round. The air is so thin that new visitors often feel dizzy and short of breath after walking just a few steps. Sunlight here is unusually intense due to the thin atmosphere, often harming eyes without proper UV protective glasses. Traditional houses are made of clay mixed with dry grass, with walls nearly 2 feet thick for natural insulation. All fresh food must be dried or fermented, since long winters make farming impossible. During winter, the entire region becomes cut off, and locals survive using stored food and melted snow. Dal Lake is famous across India and the world for its houseboats and flower boats, which represent a distinctive part of Kashmiri culture. The lake is surrounded by the Himalaya, reflecting snow-covered peaks and creating a striking landscape for anyone visiting the area. This place has often been described as the Venice of the East, because daily life, trade, tourism, and even floating schools all happen on the water. Unlike many lakes elsewhere, Dal Lake contains floating gardens where residents grow vegetables and flowers on drifting platforms made by hand. Local people rely entirely on boats to reach schools, hospitals, and workplaces, replacing roads and vehicles in everyday movement. Dal Lake stands as a major tourism symbol of India, attracting millions of visitors each year, especially during spring and summer, when the water stays clear. Corolla Glacier rises sharply, like a wall of white ice, right beside the highway in the middle of the barren highlands. Part of the glacier once hung over a cliff and collapsed, causing a landslide down the rocky slope below. A layer of dark dust blown by plateau winds speeds up melting during long, sunny months on the ice surface. There are no forests or tall trees here, only bare rocks, low grass, and cracks in the ice as deep as 3 feet. Local people must guide the melted glacier water to distant storage tanks because the ground cannot hold moisture. Today, Corolla Glacier is on a special United Nations watch list for high mountain regions affected by climate change. Nowhere else in the Himalayas is as dry and breathless as Speedy Valley, sitting at over 12,500 feet in elevation. This area receives less than 6 inches of rain each year, leaving the entire landscape covered in dry soil, loose stones, and steep cliffs. During winter, temperatures drop so low that many parts of the valley are completely cut off for several months. In some places, you must cross rope bridges or walk through frozen streams to reach homes, since there are no paved roads. People live in stone houses with thick earthen roofs, stay warm using dry cow dung, and store water before it freezes in winter. During winter festivals, locals dance and chant in the snow as a way to connect with the extreme natural world around them. Namche Bazaar is a high-altitude town in northeastern Nepal and the most important stop along the route to Everest Base Camp. It serves as the main trade and supply center for the entire eastern Himalayan region of Nepal. Built on steep mountain slopes, its horseshoe-shaped terraces form a rare kind of hanging town in a snowy landscape. A small oxygen tank here can cost up to 10 times more than in the lowlands due to transport difficulty and high demand. Most unique is that it offers Wi-Fi solar power and rare high-end services at this extreme elevation in the mountains. Namche Bazaar is seen as the unofficial capital of the Sherpa people, where trekkers and climbers gather before heading deeper into the Himalayas. Tso Moriri is a freshwater lake located at an elevation above 15,000 feet on one of the coldest and driest high plateaus in India. The lake has no outlet, with all its water collected from melting snow and underground springs trapped beneath frozen rock layers. Each winter, the entire lake surface freezes solid and can crack due to air pressure changes or added surface weight. The land around the lake has no large trees, and farming is nearly impossible because of poor soil and extremely thin air. There is no mobile signal or nearby hospital, so medical emergencies require many hours of travel along dangerous mountain roads. Visitors to Tso Moriri must obtain special permits because the area lies close to the border and holds high strategic importance. Gokyo Lakes is a freshwater system in the Himalayas and ranks among the highest lake groups in the world. These lakes are formed from melting glaciers, creating extremely pure water in the middle of a harsh and untouched mountain region. No vehicles can reach this area, so every visitor must hike through rocky slopes, cold winds, and thin air. The water surface is often still, but it gently trembles as if responding to wind sweeping down from icy cliffs nearby. On grey mountain rock, the water appears like drops of bright color, painted into a world of silence and snow. Uniquely, the lake color changes with every step you take, shifting from turquoise to silver, depending on light and elevation. Phoksundo Lake is among the highest and deepest lakes in Nepal, located along the remote northwestern edge of the Himalayas. The lake was formed by ancient glacial meltwater, blocked by limestone cliffs reaching depths of over 470 feet. Its emerald green color comes from the rare mix of cold sky, reflection white stone, and dissolved ancient glacier minerals. Steep canyon walls rise several hundred feet on both sides, channeling fierce mountain winds across the lake day and night. Local beliefs forbid swimming or collecting water without ritual permission, as the lake is considered sacred. Due to its religious status, Phoksundo remains untouched by development or extraction, preserving a nearly pristine natural state. Yumthang Valley is a secluded river valley nestled among rocky mountains in northern India, known for its untouched and tranquil beauty. The tall forest canopy forms a natural dome that blocks sunlight by day and traps warmth during the freezing nights. A cold river cuts through the narrow valley like a long crack formed by ancient rocks and melting ice flow. Locals believe the forest has a soul, so trees are not cut, and silence is respected deep within the woods. It is one of the few places where you can fully disconnect from city noise and live amid diverse wilderness. In 2018, a group of foreign trekkers was lost for 3 days, but said nature held them peacefully instead of threatening them. Baltoro Glacier is one of the largest and most renowned glaciers on Earth, located in the Karakoram Mountains of northern Pakistan. Stretching around 40 miles long, it forms a massive frozen corridor between towering peaks over 23,000 feet high. Considered one of the most isolated and dangerous trekking routes, it offers no roads, rescue services, or human-built structures. Its jagged surface is cracked and uneven, like the moon's terrain, making movement feel like crossing an alien planet. The glacier shifts slowly each year, leaving massive scrape marks that allow scientists to monitor climate change in real time. With no phone signal, some hikers mark their route using colored rocks and gas can lids to avoid vanishing into the icy gray. Located in the high mountains of the Himalayas, Suru Valley stands out for its ancient glacial terrain shaped into a U-shaped span more than 3 miles wide. You can experience a deep sense of separation from urban life as you move through the valley, where its untouched scenery suggests an ancient natural world. The Suru River carries large volumes of meltwater from elevations above 16,000 feet, forming young mineral-rich soil across the valley. Its landscape includes vertical cliffs, layered plateaus, and views stretching for dozens of miles that reveal distinct geological levels. The valley developed through more than 2 million years of Pleistocene ice erosion, leaving steep slopes rarely seen in other mountainous areas. Jigme Dorji National Park is one of Bhutan's largest and most important protected areas, known for containing much of the northern high plateau and several rare ecosystems. The park preserves major tectonic processes of the Himalaya, where active glaciers continually feed water into major basins. Some areas record the simultaneous presence of Bengal tigers and snow leopards, a rarity in global conservation studies. It also holds cultural value as a historic mountain corridor that shaped the identity of highland communities. When you visit, you can observe glaciers and deep valleys and understand why the park is seen as Bhutan's ecological heart. Set above 13,000 feet in the Himalayas, Na village is known for its isolation and its ability to preserve traditional life in harsh conditions. The settlement was formed by nomadic groups who stayed long-term and built thick stone houses to face strong winds and long winters. Winter temperatures can drop below -20 degrees Celsius, forcing residents to depend on stored supplies and shared warmth. The landscape includes towering cliffs, deep valleys carved by ancient glaciers, and snowy peaks throughout the year. As you walk, your breath turns into white mist, and the wind echoes between the rock walls, creating a quiet yet unusual feel. The village is surrounded by steep red cliffs and mountain summits covered in snow all year. Located in the high Himalayas, Gosainkunda Lake is known for its ancient glacial origin and its sacred significance in Nepalese spiritual traditions. The lake rests at an elevation of about 14,380 feet, where oxygen levels drop to nearly 60% of sea level. Its water comes from ice older than 10,000 years, giving it exceptional purity and very low mineral content. Surrounding cliffs and the natural bowl-shaped basin create a setting where the still surface reflects the mountains above. Many rocks around the lake show ancient glacial marks, and winter ice can reach nearly 20 inches, revealing seasonal climate shifts. You may feel complete separation from daily life upon reaching the site, which is regarded as a symbol of purification and emotional balance. Located on a distinctive confluence terrace in Bhutan, Punaka Dzong is recognized for serving as the nation's earliest political center. Its foundation sits on compact alluvial soil, and walls, nearly 10 feet thick, help the structure resist strong geological movement. Built in the 17th century, it hosted the coronation of the first ruler and became a core symbol of governance and faith. Multi-level courtyards and a rising central tower create a layout that remains easy to orient as you approach from afar. Several traditional accounts suggest the early design was envisioned as a guiding vessel during times of national change. During major annual rituals, you can observe how the Dzong functions as a spiritual hub, uniting surrounding communities. Located on a high Himalayan mountainside, Namalmo Monastery stands out for its traditional architecture, positioned at more than 10,000 feet, with wide mountain views. Its timber joinery without nails allows the buildings to withstand strong plateau winds reaching 25 to 40 miles per hour. Many walls use metamorphic stone older than 50 million years, reflecting the tectonic collision between the Indian and Asian plates. The surrounding terraces and steep cliffs make the monastery appear anchored to the mountainside, within an open landscape. Several prayer columns taller than 20 feet rotate continuously by wind, symbolizing harmony between natural forces and ritual practice. You may feel deep stillness upon entering, where generations regard the site as a spiritual refuge in the harsh mountain environment. Krishnagiri Fort rises more than 1,300 feet above a dry plain where farming is nearly impossible year-round. Its ancient granite base, formed 2 million years ago, offered one of the few stable grounds for defensive structures in this harsh land. To survive, guards lived under open skies, on burning stone, with no protection beyond their skills and adaptation. With no groundwater, even brief rains became lifelines, stored in rock hollows and rationed like treasure in an unforgiving terrain. The quartz-rich granite kept the summit intact for centuries, preserving the full shape and silence of this historic fortress. Coming here, you must face a sun-exposed stone slope that tests your strength and willpower in a place shaped by survival. Across the vast Himalayan plateau, Lancang village is recognized for hosting marine fossils found at elevations above 14,000 feet. The land formed as Tethys Sea sediments were uplifted over 50 million years, exposing stacked layers that resemble a natural geological section. It once served as a cultural center, where residents regarded fossils as sacred traces and preserved them through generations. Layered terrain and eroded slopes allow you to see geological structures tens of millions of years old directly on the ground. Studies confirm the area contains a dense fossil record, with many specimens exceeding 150 million years in age. Today, Lancang is viewed as a symbol of the meeting between an ancient ocean and a rising Himalayan range, giving it an enduring sense of mystery. Set within a dry Himalayan valley, Hemis Monastery is recognized as the largest center of the Drukpa tradition in India. Built on stable mountain rock at nearly 12,000 feet, the monastery withstands significant geological forces. Many Vajrayana manuscripts, more than 300 years old, remain preserved inside secured shrine rooms. Grey mountain walls create a natural backing that makes the structure stand out clearly from the valley. Its underground thangka storage protects rare objects accessible only to expert scholars, adding an element of mystery. During the Sechu festival, you can sense its spiritual role as a symbol of resilience throughout the Himalayan region. Set in the high, arid mountains of northern India, Lamayuru Monastery stands out for being built on eroded rock surrounded by thousands of natural earth pillars. The area was once the floor of an ancient lake, where soft sediments dried and weathered for thousands of years, forming a rare moon-like terrain. When you visit, you can observe the eroded valley and understand why the monastery is regarded as a spiritual symbol of the Himalayan region. Its foundation rests on uplifted rock that keeps the structure stable, even as surrounding slopes continue to erode. The natural arches beneath the monastery are considered unusual by geologists because they form only under extreme thermal variation. The monastery has long served as a principal center of Highland Buddhist transmission, preserving major rituals across generations. Pari Mahal stands unlike any other structure, perched on a mountain slope more than 5,300 feet high, exposed to strong, cold winds throughout the year. This place once served as a center for astronomy and Sufi philosophy, without temples or visible religious symbols shaping daily study. Its walls, built 4 feet thick using hand-fired lime mortar, helped retain warmth at night and reduce heat loss during colder periods. Every wall niche and stone arch was designed to reflect light, carry sound clearly, and guide mountain winds through the structure naturally. With no natural water source past inhabitants carved stone channels by hand, stretching dozens of yards to bring water from mountain slopes. Today, the structure remains largely intact, standing without steel or concrete, relying entirely on gravity balance and original stone construction. There are few places on Earth where a monastery hangs on a cliff almost 3,000 feet above the valley floor, like Tiger's Nest in Bhutan. To reach it, you must climb more than 1,800 feet on a forest trail that stretches nearly 4 miles. Part of the monastery is built around an ancient cave used for real meditation since the 8th century. The structure was made without nails holding to the rock, using wood and stone joined by hand. When you arrive, be careful. Steep terrain and pine forests make the oxygen level change quickly as you climb. The monastery is a cultural symbol of Bhutan, deeply tied to Buddhist beliefs and spiritual traditions. Located at nearly 12,000 feet, Yumthang Valley in India is a highland meadow with almost no tall trees in sight. Because of the high elevation, large trees cannot grow, and only alpine grass shrubs and low plants cover the valley. Every spring, more than 24 types of rhododendrons and many alpine flowers bloom, forming colorful fields across the land. Yumthang also has a natural hot spring rich in sulfur where locals soak to ease body pain and stay warm. Due to its steep and remote terrain, the area has almost no medical services or modern treatment nearby. In winter, the entire valley freezes and becomes unreachable because of thick snow and blocked mountain roads. Amid mountains rising over 13,000 feet, Chelila Pass stands as one of the harshest and most isolated places in Bhutan. During snowfall, roads freeze without warning, forcing vehicles to stop in freezing air and constant strong winds. People here survive by storing food all year and growing only plants that can handle the cold. From the pass, you can see snow-covered Himalayan peaks stretching for many miles on both sides of the horizon. Prayer flags hang thick in the high winds, marking the border between human survival and nature's toughest challenges. Dal Lake in Tibet, whose name in Sanskrit means the Lake of Demons, is considered one of the most unusual high plateau lakes in western China. Located at an elevation of around 15,000 feet, this saltwater lake supports almost no life within its waters or along its shores. Cold, dry air and very limited rainfall cause large areas of the plateau to lack dense vegetation and visible biological activity. Seen from above, Dal Lake forms a clear crescent shape, a rare natural geometric feature among large lakes worldwide. While many lakes in Tibet are viewed as sacred and fortunate, Dal is instead linked to darkness and imbalance in local belief systems. Laya is one of the highest permanent settlements in the Himalayan range, located in northern Gasa province near the border with Tibet. There are no roads for vehicles, so residents must walk for many days across high passes and snow-covered terrain throughout the year. The route to Laya passes through alpine forests, mountain streams, and open high grasslands with very limited modern infrastructure along the way. Oxygen levels in Laya are about 30% lower than at sea level, forcing residents to adapt over time to thin mountain air. The village is home to the Layap people, a semi-nomadic community that raises yaks and wears thick wool clothing with distinctive bamboo hats. Each year, the community holds the Royal Highlander Festival to celebrate traditional culture, music, songs, and local dress. Samye Monastery is the first Buddhist monastery ever built in Tibetan history, located on a wide plain within the Yarlung Tsangpo Valley. The monastery was built in the 8th century and stands at about 11,700 feet, surrounded by dry, open land and constant dust. The main temple has 3 levels each, showing Tibetan design, ancient Chinese style, and architectural influence from India. The entire complex follows the mandala model with the central hall, representing the world axis in Buddhist belief. This was once the site of a major philosophical debate that shaped the direction of Tibetan Buddhism for more than 1,000 years. During winter, temperatures drop below freezing, yet pilgrims still arrive to pray and practice meditation. Devalgarh is an ancient hill town on the lower Himalayas, known for its medieval heritage and unspoiled mountain landscape. Visiting this place feels like stepping back in time, where mossy stone paths and complete silence guide every step. Local trees grow with shallow roots that stretch sideways, adapting to rocky slopes and dry, wind-swept terrain. Buildings use local stone arranged to catch sun and block cold wind, staying warm in winter without needing stoves. From the hillside, the village looks like a solid rock rising from the ground, blending into nature with no clear border. People believe that if a wall stone is moved wrongly, the house loses its warmth because cold air finds tiny gaps. Zizu waterfall is one of the most stunning natural waterfalls in India, set against the dramatic backdrop of the Himalayas. The water comes from melting snow above, forming a powerful white stream that crashes down a steep rock face. Locals call it the place where water falls from the sky, tied to sacred beliefs and traditional life. Standing nearly 150 feet tall, the fall cuts through mossy cliffs and stands out sharply against dark mountain rock. Its location next to a major mountain pass lets you view the waterfall easily, without hiking long forest trails. Zizu waterfall is often called the open eye of the mountains, a wild force testing anyone who passes nearby. Darjeeling is a highland region in eastern India, globally recognized as the tea rooftop of the world. Tea plantations curve along the mountain slopes, forming rare green wave patterns that resemble a living landscape painting. In early winter, light snow sometimes falls directly onto the bright green tea gardens, creating a striking contrast of colors. You can enjoy a cup of tea right at the plantation, with each sip carrying the flavor of mist, altitude, and craftsmanship. Darjeeling sits on the edge of the Himalayas, where ancient rock layers meet rising tectonic valleys, still pushing upward each year. Traditional buildings here use stone and pine wood, capturing eastern sunlight and shielding against cold western mountain winds. Singye Dzong is a sacred cave complex, hidden nearly 13,000 feet high in the northeastern mountains of Bhutan. Pilgrims must cross 3 rugged mountain passes where the weather can shift from sunshine to hailstorm within a few hours. Thick fog often creates a rare reverse haze effect, making the ground below appear clearer than the sky from the summit. The cave clings to a vertical cliff, appearing from afar like a shadowy slit floating between cloud layers and black rock. For centuries, the site served as a secret meditation retreat for Buddhist masters, leaving almost no visible construction behind. Local belief says only those with a calm mind and steady body can fully perceive the true sacred form of the site. Jogini Waterfall is a remarkable natural site in northern India, known for blending raw nature with deep spiritual symbolism. The waterfall cascades from a mossy cliff, lined with pine trees, forming a bright stream against the dark green forest. Its waters flow through ancient rock layers of the Himalayas, carrying both geological force and cultural significance. Locals believe the water can cleanse negative energy and help people recover from emotional or spiritual hardship. Visitors often meditate quietly for hours beside the falls, drawn to the calming sound of flowing water. The site once served as a secluded retreat for yogis chosen for its silent surroundings and complete isolation from everyday life. Pokhara is globally known for its rare layered landscape where lakes, plains, forests, and snowy peaks appear in continuous harmony. From the valley floor, you can see mountain summits over 26,000 feet high with completely unobstructed views. Despite its moderate elevation, Pokhara experiences heavy morning fog due to thermal inversion caused by the surrounding mountain ranges. Local architecture is designed to adapt to nature, using sloped roofs, compact windows, and structures that withstand frequent seismic activity. In 2017, the sky above Pokhara mysteriously lit up for several minutes, likely caused by an extreme ice atmosphere reflection event. Chandratal Lake, also known as the Moon Lake, is a crescent-shaped alpine lake over 14,000 feet high in the Himalayas. It lies at the strange intersection between glaciers and cold desert, where arid land and extreme climate meet. The lake's curved surface mirrors a cloudless sky, surrounded by sharp rocks and snow peaks under full daylight. Locals never pollute or use the water, believing the lake is a living, sacred entity deserving absolute respect. Many visitors come to meditate in silence, disconnect from cities, and reconnect with a raw, untouched inner state of being. Soka Lake is an inland salt lake on the Ladakh Plateau, globally recognized by its unique nickname, White Lake. It was once a freshwater lake, but ancient climate shifts evaporated it, leaving smooth salt flats stretching for miles. The landscape features three main tones: bright white salt, deep blue sky, and dry brown rock, forming a striking minimalist palette. In past generations, locals bartered salt for yak butter, fur, and tea, creating a cashless exchange system that lasted for centuries. Today, the lake serves as a natural climate lab for scientists studying ecological change at high altitudes worldwide. Indus Valley is one of the most significant ancient regions in Asia, once home to the early Indus River civilization. Over 4,000 years ago, people here developed drainage systems, houses, and granaries with remarkably precise city layouts. The valley formed from tectonic collisions between the Indian and Asian plates, a geological process still active today. Its layered soil reveals history clearly, with ancient silt and modern ground stacked like visible slices of time. The landscape shifts dramatically by season: dry, cracked earth in summer, then a wide floodplain during the monsoon rains. Scientists believe the soil here may contain ancient microbes never decoded, like a forgotten biological archive sealed in time. Milarepa Cave is a well-known cave in Nepal, closely associated with Milarepa, a great yogi and mystical poet of Tibetan Buddhism. The cave was shaped by metamorphic rock layers compressed over millions of years, leaving natural bands that reveal tectonic activity in the Himalayas. Its compact chamber and curved stone ceiling help stabilize light levels, supporting meditation consistent with ancient practices. Steep cliffs, wide valley views, and large rock formations create the impression of a sanctuary hanging above open space. Legends describing Milarepa's extreme ascetic life, including surviving on nettles, have become symbols of deep spiritual transformation. you may feel profound stillness inside the cave, where many visitors report sensing a noticeable shift in emotional awareness. Amid the vast Himalayas, Gangotri is regarded as the natural starting point of the Ganga, as its earliest waters arise from melting ice. The region is formed from young granite, marked by vertical fractures, revealing powerful tectonic forces from continental collision. Gangotri carries a long pilgrimage tradition, where people honor a water source believed to represent purity and renewal. Narrow valleys and polished boulders shape a geological setting that allows you to observe traces of glaciers that once covered the area. Scientific teams have documented strong seasonal changes in water flow linked to melt from elevations of several thousand feet. Gangotri is viewed as a symbol of beginnings, where raw nature and ancient beliefs combine into a uniquely sacred environment. Located at the foothills of the Himalayas, Rishikesh is recognized as a global center of yoga and meditation, shaped by its balance of mountains and river. The terrain sits on stable shivalik rock layers, reducing landslide risks and preserving the long-term form of the riverbank. Fast-flowing water with steep gradients produces oxygen-rich conditions often linked to natural recovery processes. The open valley displays layered mountain views that enhance the calm atmosphere essential for meditative activity. Daily chanting rituals attract hundreds of participants, showing how spirituality is closely integrated with local life. Many records describe Rishikesh as the gateway to the Himalayas, where pilgrims pause to prepare themselves mentally. Set on the high, arid slopes of Nepal, Chosa Caves stand out for hundreds of carved chambers positioned more than 160 feet above the ground. The soft sedimentary cliffs were shaped by wind erosion for thousands of years before people expanded them into a connected system of rooms and passages. Wall carvings, soot traces, and stacked chambers reflect a vertically organized community once living in this mountain environment. The steep terrain emerged from strong tectonic uplift, providing a solid rock face suitable for carving durable living spaces. Several chambers show clear functional separation, revealing how ancient residents optimized limited space in harsh conditions. When you explore the caves, you can see the layered structure firsthand and understand why they are viewed as rare evidence of human adaptation in high mountain regions. Set within the greater Himalayan region, Kathmandu Valley stands out because it was once the floor of an ancient lake over 650 feet deep. Sediments accumulating through repeated lake cycles formed layered structures that clearly record tectonic and environmental changes. The valley served as a cultural and spiritual center where arts and knowledge were passed down for generations. Its basin shape with surrounding mountain rims allows you to view exposed strata that preserve thousands of years of geological history. Scientific surveys have identified more than 2,000 sediment layers, creating an unusually detailed archive of Himalayan climate. Today, Kathmandu Valley is regarded as a symbol of transformation from an ancient lake into a fertile basin, shaping Nepal's enduring civilization. Artists from around the world seek out Andretta village in India's northern hills because it preserves over 100 years of pottery tradition. The village grew in the early 20th century when artists settled and transformed the landscape into a center for natural, open-air creativity. Local clay has strong cohesion and can endure firing near 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, producing durable pottery with a distinct tone. When you work with the clay, the cool texture, wood smoke, and crackling kiln sounds shape a simple yet memorable experience. Andretta village is regarded as a symbol of creative freedom, where people, craft, and nature blend into a lasting cultural identity. Bada Bagh may not rise like the Himalayas, but its presence alone challenges everything we believe about survival in impossible landscapes. These royal cenotaphs have stood for over 5 centuries without protection, surviving where nothing else dares to endure. Here, memory was carved not into books or paper, but into stone that resists time, sand, and silence. When the sun sets, every pillar glows with an eerie red light, turning the dead desert into a burning archive of human will. No trees, no shade, no comfort. Yet these structures were never buried, never erased, never forgotten by the wind. Bada Bagh is not a ruin. It is a contradiction made real. A place built to stay, where nature insists nothing should last. Guje Monastery was built in the year 1850 and has survived for more than 170 years in harsh highland weather with strong, freezing winds. It stands over 8,000 feet above sea level, where thin air often causes dizziness and short breath for people arriving for the first time. Around 40 monks live here all year without using any heating system, relying entirely on long-term adaptation and strict monastic discipline. The surrounding landscape is a chain of foggy hills stretching for miles, with almost no signs of modern housing or urban activity. There are no tall trees nearby, only low, cold, resistant flowers, scattered sparsely like fragile signs of survival. When you arrive here, you must climb hundreds of steep stone steps along bare mountain slopes, testing your endurance and sense of balance. Kumbu Monastery is one of the oldest Gelug temples, deeply connected to the origin of Tibetan Buddhist philosophy since the 16th century. It sits on a plateau over 13,000 feet high, where thin air causes dizziness and loss of balance as soon as visitors arrive. Inside is a rare collection of murals and carvings, turning the entire monastery into a living museum on the cold Tibetan plateau. Built in the year 1583 by a Gelug leader, it still preserves traditional rituals and ancient religious customs. Its architecture combines Tibetan spiritual art with deeply contemplative spaces and finely crafted Buddha statues. The surrounding stone hills, covered in mist and stripped of trees, feel like the edge of the world where silence replaces the passing of time. Alchi Monastery is one of the oldest Buddhist structures in the Himalayas, built in a barren stone valley where cold wind never stops. Its ancient mud brick walls have preserved original paintings for over 900 years without any help from modern restoration. The builders chose a land with no resources, no large trees, and very little rain to protect sacred memory and knowledge. As sunlight passes through wooden frames in the afternoon, the murals glow as if the color and stone shine from within. Auchi is where humans created lasting meaning in a place that nature once refused to let anything endure. Few would imagine that a remote Gompa could exist atop one of the harshest, steepest cliff faces of the Himalayan mountains. Monks live and meditate inside stone caves without electricity or comfort, facing nature with nothing but the strength of inner discipline. Every sack of rice or drop of fuel must be carried for miles over steep trails and freezing rock ledges. The only water source is from rain, caught in stone cracks, collected bit by bit for daily survival in the highlands. Coming here, you see not just a monastery, but living proof of endurance carved into the heart of Himalayan extremity. Drak Yerpa sits in a deep stone valley where layers of moss create strange natural patterns across the mountain's surface. Cold winds cut through clothing, and sudden fog rolls in, wrapping everything in a disorienting and painful chill. Massive limestone walls rise like a stone maze, shaped over thousands of years by grinding winds and carving rains. Located at over 15,700 feet, the thin air forces fast breathing almost immediately upon arrival. For centuries, more than 300 meditation masters lived here in cold, dark caves to train their minds in extreme isolation. Deep within certain rock crevices, sacred water is believed to flow, carrying power to cleanse suffering buried in the heart.